Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand. You're not tired. You're just addicted to feeling ready. And guess what? That feeling you're waiting for, it's not coming. Somewhere out there, someone is waking up earlier than you. They're pushing through pain, through cold, through silence, not because they're more motivated, but because they stopped relying on it. You keep scrolling, looking for that one video to light you up. But maybe, just maybe, the person you want to become is hidden behind all the moments you refuse to move when it hurt. Harsh? Maybe. But let's be honest. How many times have you said, "I'll start when I feel better"? How's that working out? Discipline doesn't ask for your permission. It drags you through the mud when comfort says stay. And Napoleon Hill, he understood this long before TikTok dopamine hits and 5 a.m. routines became hashtags. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand. Let's unpack that. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand. This wasn't just motivational fluff for Napoleon Hill. It was a battle cry. In today's world, we've confused preparation with postponement. We think we need the perfect playlist, the perfect mindset, the perfect timing, but life doesn't pause while you wait. The clock keeps moving, and so does your potential. Hill's wisdom, forged during the Great Depression, cuts through our modern excuses like a knife. He believes success begins when you act despite the discomfort, not because you're free of it. The perfect moment is a myth. The only real moment is now. So if you're waiting to feel motivated, you're already falling behind. Discipline is what answers the call when motivation ghosts you, and history proves this over and over again. Let's take a look at what happens when someone ignores this truth. Howard Hughes was a legend, a self-made billionaire. He conquered Hollywood, aviation, and industry, all before most people find their calling. But despite his brilliance, despite his empire, Hughes fell into a deep spiral. He began isolating, obsessing, avoiding pain, avoiding people, avoiding life. Why? Because he stopped doing the hard things. He abandoned routine. He abandoned structure. He traded discipline for comfort. He became a prisoner of his own mind, living in dark hotel rooms, terrified of germs, disconnected from reality. Hughes died alone, rich in dollars, bankrupt in discipline. Napoleon Hill would have seen it coming. He called it the hypnotic rhythm, when you surrender to your fears and they repeat until they consume you. The person who moves with definiteness recognizes the difference between temporary defeat and failure. Napoleon Hill. Hughes didn't fail from the outside. He was defeated from within by his own unwillingness to push through pain, structure his life, and keep moving. So ask yourself, will you let fear run the show? Or will you take back the wheel with discipline? Starting now? Welcome to Oliver Napoleon Hill, where timeless wisdom meets modern struggle, and where your excuses come to die. Today's topic, discipline over motivation, push through the pain. Sounds intense, right? It should be, because this might be the exact thing that's keeping your life small. Let's be real. Most people don't lack potential. They lack consistency. They don't need another motivational video. They need grit, not a better mood, but a better mindset. Not a push, but a promise to themselves. You want results? Then stop waiting to feel like it. Napoleon Hill understood this before Instagram quotes made it trendy. He said, "A goal is a dream with a deadline." And he taught that without definiteness of purpose and without the discipline to act on it, your dreams rot. So today, we're not chasing motivation. We're building unshakable discipline. We're going to walk through 5 brutal but beautiful pillars of transformation. Each one is a wake-up call. Each one is a mirror. And by the end, you'll see discipline isn't punishment. It's freedom. It's how you earn self-respect. It's how you silence doubt. It's how you become dangerous. Let's begin. Number 1, the illusion of motivation. Let's start with the lie that's keeping you average. I just need to feel motivated first. No, you don't. That's your brain protecting you from discomfort. That's your comfort zone talking in a tuxedo. Motivation is a scam. It's a spark, not a system. It's unreliable, unstable, and worst of all, it's seductive. You wait for it, you chase it, you scroll for it. But Napoleon Hill didn't build his philosophy around feelings. He built it around definiteness of purpose, action, and self-command. You are the master of your destiny. You can influence, direct, and control your own environment. Napoleon Hill. That doesn't come from being hyped. That comes from being decided. Let me ask you something. Have you ever gotten that sudden jolt of motivation, cleaned your room, worked out, started a journal, and then completely dropped it 3 days later? That's the illusion. Motivation gives you a moment. Discipline gives you a lifestyle. Hill wrote about emotional control being the true power because those who wait for the right mood never build anything worth remembering. You don't rise by waiting. You rise by commanding yourself to act, especially when it's inconvenient, especially when it hurts. Every time you act without feeling like it, you take a hammer to the chains that hold most people back. You build a self-respect that can't be faked, and you separate yourself from the average majority, not by talent, but by tenacity. Discipline is freedom in disguise. When you stop negotiating with your excuses, your life changes. When you stop seeking comfort, you find power. Success is never about how you feel. It's about what you do when you don't feel like it. So burn this into your brain. If you're still waiting for motivation, you're still waiting to live. Now that we've shattered the illusion, let's talk about the one thing that makes discipline sustainable. A clear, burning, unstoppable purpose. Number 2, definite purpose. The birthplace of discipline. Here's a truth that will either liberate you or confront you. You don't have a discipline problem. You have a purpose problem. Napoleon Hill dedicated entire chapters of Think and Grow Rich to this one principle: definiteness of purpose. He said, "There is one quality which one must possess to win: definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it." Discipline isn't hard when the mission is clear. What's hard is dragging yourself through pain when your goals are foggy. You hit snooze, you skip the gym, you binge dopamine, not because you're lazy, but because your life is directionless. You can't commit to discipline if you're not deeply committed to a destination. Unclear purpose creates emotional friction. And emotional friction is what kills consistency. Most people aren't weak. They're just disconnected. Disconnected from who they could be. Disconnected from what actually matters. Imagine trying to climb a mountain with no idea why or where it leads. Would you really push through the blisters, the cold, the loneliness? Of course not. But if that mountain meant freedom, if it meant becoming the man or woman you were born to be, you'd crawl to the summit if you had to. You'd bleed for it. You'd suffer with pride. That's the fire Hill talked about. That burning desire that makes discipline automatic, because you're not forcing action anymore. You're fueled by it. You're no longer dragging yourself. You're being pulled by vision. And that's the difference between forcing your way forward and being obsessed with what lies ahead. You don't need more hacks, planners, or pep talks. You need a reason so strong it makes your excuses feel embarrassing. So before you beat yourself up for being inconsistent, ask, do I really know what I want? And even deeper, do I want it bad enough to suffer for it? Because discipline isn't about pushing harder. It's about seeing clearer. And the moment you see it clearly enough, nothing can stop you. Now let's talk about the war behind the curtain. The emotional sabotage that kills most dreams before they begin. Number 3. Emotional mastery over impulse. Here's a brutal truth. Napoleon Hill knew well. Your emotions don't care about your dreams. They're wild, unpredictable forces that want comfort, ease, and safety. And they'll sabotage your progress in the blink of an eye. You don't need more time. You need control over your impulses. When pain hits, your first instinct is to run, freeze, or escape. That's your primitive brain wiring. Hill called this the drifting state, when you let emotion steer you without a rudder. But discipline is the captain who grabs the wheel and steers straight into the storm. The person who risks nothing, does nothing, has nothing, is nothing. Napoleon Hill. Think about it. Every great achievement, every mountain climbed required feeling the fear, the pain, the doubt, and acting anyway. Emotional mastery is not about being emotionless. It's about feeling fully, then choosing your response. It's the moment you say, I will not let this feeling decide my fate. That moment, that's where discipline is born. Here's the irony. The more you practice emotional mastery, the less you need motivation, because you stop waiting for a mood or a feeling to move you. Hill understood this, saying, self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you don't control what you think, you can't control what you do. And that's the truth no one wants to hear. Most people don't need more time, tools, or tactics. They need to stop being emotionally hijacked by every little inconvenience. Emotional mastery is your armor against the chaos of life. It doesn't remove pain. It makes you immune to its control. And here's the part most ignore. Every emotional impulse is a test of self-leadership. Will you obey the feeling, or will you lead yourself through it? The undisciplined life is ruled by reaction. The disciplined life is ruled by deliberate command. So next time pain or doubt creeps in, don't ask why me. Ask what now. Because those who master their emotions become unstoppable. Not because they feel less, but because they obey less. Number 4, the enemy within, procrastination and excuses. Here's the cold, uncomfortable truth. The biggest enemy standing between you and success isn't the world. It's you. Napoleon Hill called it the devil in Outwitting the Devil. But he wasn't talking about some supernatural force. He was talking about procrastination, fear, and the excuses you tell yourself every day. The devil's greatest trick was convincing you that you have time. How often have you caught yourself saying, I'll start tomorrow? Just one more break. I'm too tired today. I'll do it next week. This is your mind's comfort zone talking. It's the same voice that tells you motivation will come later. It's the enemy within, and it's relentless. Hill believed awareness was the key to breaking free. The majority of people are drifting through life, allowing their fears and excuses to control them. But here's the catch. You choose to stay trapped. Every excuse is a chain you put on yourself. Every delay is a brick in the wall you build between who you are and who you want to be. Discipline is the hammer that breaks those chains. It's the voice that says, no more. It's the decision to move now, even when you don't want to. Because the moment you give in to one excuse, you lose momentum. And momentum, Hill said, is the silent engine of success. It compounds, it builds identity, it rewires your brain. Want to kill your potential? Keep saying later. Want to build greatness? Start with now. Because action, not intention, is what shapes your destiny. Every moment you procrastinate, you're silently voting for the life you don't want. Every time you take action despite resistance, you're casting a vote for the person you're becoming. Procrastination isn't laziness, it's misalignment with purpose. And excuses aren't harmless. They're the invisible poison that numbs your will. So, if you want to push through pain, start by fighting your own mind. You're not at war with the clock. You're at war with comfort. And the ones who win, they don't wait for fear to disappear. They act in spite of it. Number 5, faith in action, building unshakable belief through daily discipline. Here's where most people stumble. They think faith is passive, a hope, a wish, or blind luck. Napoleon Hill called faith the starting point of all riches, but not in a magical way. Faith for Hill is action-based belief. It's the muscle you build every day by showing up, pushing forward, and doing the work even when results are invisible. Faith is the eternal elixir which gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought. You see, discipline without faith is just grinding in the dark. But when faith enters, every painful step becomes meaningful. Every failure is a lesson. Every early morning, every aching muscle, every lonely hour is a brick in your foundation. This faith isn't inherited, it's earned through small victories. By telling yourself, I can handle this. By choosing discipline over comfort again and again. By trusting the process even when the destination is unclear. Hill taught, faith removes limitations, because when you combine definiteness of purpose with faith in action, discipline stops feeling like a chore. It becomes your identity, your unshakable truth. And here's the real secret. Faith grows louder every time you refuse to quit. Every time you honor your word to yourself, even in silence. You're not just building habits, you're building belief. Faith isn't hoping it works out. Faith is knowing that what you do today echoes into the life you want tomorrow, even when no one sees you, even when results are delayed, even when doubt whispers, this isn't working. That's when real belief is born, not in certainty, but in struggle. Because the ones who make it, they keep going when no one claps. They keep building when no one believes. They live in alignment with something bigger than feelings, a purpose so strong, no emotion can shake it. So build your faith like a fortress, brick by disciplined brick, stacked with pain, persistence, and unshakable intent, until one day you look back and realize you didn't just believe in your dream, you proved it. Imagine waking up one day, not because you feel like it, but because you must, because the fire inside is no longer a flicker, it's a roaring blaze. This is the moment discipline becomes your backbone, your compass, your truth. At first, it feels like walking through a storm, cold winds of doubt, heavy rain of fatigue. You stumble, you question, you want to quit. But then, something changes. You keep moving. The fog begins to lift. Your steps become surer. Pain turns from enemy to teacher. Every small victory, every moment you push past the urge to stop, layers strength into your soul. Your mind sharpens, your purpose clarifies. You no longer wait for motivation, you create it from within. Napoleon Hill's teachings aren't just words, they're the map for this journey. From drifting aimlessly to steering your life with fierce, unwavering discipline, you become someone who doesn't just dream, but builds. Someone who doesn't just hope, but creates. Someone who doesn't just wait, but wins. And the beautiful irony, the pain that once felt unbearable now feels like proof. Proof that you are alive, growing, becoming. Discipline doesn't cage you, it frees you. It is the quiet force behind every success story ever told. Let's bring this ancient wisdom into today's fast-paced world. Discipline isn't about waking up at 4 a.m. or living like a monk, unless that's your purpose. It's about showing up consistently for what matters. It's the daily decisions, choosing to do the work, even when the apps, the distractions, and the endless noise scream for your attention. Napoleon Hill teaches us that discipline builds momentum, and momentum builds results. No hacks, no shortcuts. So here's what you do starting right now. Pick one thing that aligns with your deepest purpose. Set a small, clear goal around it, and commit to doing it every single day, even if just for 5 minutes. Remember, discipline is a muscle. It grows with use. And the beauty? The more you train it, the less you'll need motivation. You're not waiting for the right time anymore. You're creating your own time. The world will always be noisy and uncertain, but your discipline, that's your fortress. Stand guard there, and let nothing break you. Remember this. Strength and growth come only through continuous effort and struggle. Oliver Napoleon Hill. Discipline is the quiet warrior inside you, fighting every day for your future. It's not glamorous, it's not easy, but it is everything. If you want to rise, truly rise, you don't wait for motivation, you become motivation. So push through the pain, build the habits, master your emotions, and watch how your life bends to the will of your discipline. Because in the end, the only thing standing between you and greatness is the decision to show up again and again.